It's just very exciting. And we have so little that connects us. People imagine that because we have a narrative or any history, we must have so much evidence of things. There's almost nothing in the archaeological record. So I posted it in the Psalms Facebook group. I'm an archaeology nerd. I know I get very excited about these things. So just if it's not exciting to you, just let it go by.
I find it very exciting too, Sister Rabbi, and
Yeah,
and I have
yeah.
to tell you that when I saw that, I got very excited, and I wanted to know how much was the weight of that little
Well, the
piece.
article. I hope you're. Sometimes they can't. It's
I'm
hard
gonna
maybe to
try to
read the
do it.
whole article, but it goes into some depth about it.
Hmm.
So just look out for it. I posted it on the. And
I,
Harold, thanks
I
for
just
posting the
love that.
piece from yesterday. Our first major collaborative effort. Ruthie Berman, how are you doing in Florida? What's going on there?
Oh, it's status quo, very quiet,
Are
but
people voting early there yet? Is that voting has started there? I haven't far.
oh yeah, yeah, but mostly very very busy because that's part of what I do is bringing in ballots. That is huge. When I go to the Palm Beach County supervisor election, it's even hard to get a parking spot, and people are parked all over, bringing things in, and
What do
there's a
you mean
lot
bringing? What do you mean? What do you bring in exactly? What do you
of
mean?
ballots. We got our ballots almost 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh. You mean you
Right
could
now,
bring in other people's ballots? Is that how it
oh
works?
yes,
Oh, wow.
oh yes. And you can go to the supervisor's election desk if you feel like waiting a half hour.
You see
And
what
then,
I'm drinking my coffee out of today? See, can you see that in my,
yeah, I love it. I love it. We do have here in St. Lucie, it's one sign that says the mom's name. And it seems that the people in that section voted to have it, so we can't take it down. But otherwise, it's very quiet here. And the older you are, the more you wear your mask. That's the
oh,
message. That's the message.
crazy.
But there's still a lot of work to do because Palm Beach County is Democratic, but surrounding us is not.
Yeah.
We need, I don't want to use up too much time, but we need people there to make phone calls, especially. And that's it. That's it.
Ruth, Ruthie, Cheryl and I mailed it in already. We mailed it in. We live in Palm Beach County. We
Okay.
mailed it from Cape Cod about a week ago. As soon as we got the ballot, we went out the next day.
Yeah, a lot of
Just
people
to
have
tell
done
you.
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
So our social justice leadership team met yesterday. We meet once a month. And Harold had a wonderful idea, as so many of his ideas are. We're going to have a Zoom watch party on election night that you could come in or out of for 2 hours. Obviously, we don't think we'll have the results of everything, but just starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time, we'll have a Zoom room. You don't have to stay on the whole time, but if you just want to check in and talk and schmooze and watch the returns together, we don't have it set up yet, but just
That
watch.
might be very comforting to
Exactly.
watch it with all of you rather than sitting here by myself with my stomach in knots.
Yeah, so we'll all have our stomach. We probably won't get a
very
lot of news that night, but we'll certainly hear about a lot of other elections. And it still
Hmm.
is early, even on a regular election night, but just so we could all check in. But the other thing we want is when you vote, if you could take a picture of voting or a picture with your I voted sticker or a picture of putting the ballot in whatever mailbox or wherever you're bringing it. We want to get a lot of pictures of CBST members voting. Harold, where did we decide people should send that to? What did we decide? You're muted, Bubala. You're still muted.
Yes. Vote at CBST.
Vote at cbst.org. Send in pictures of voting. And again, if it's putting it in the mailbox, that's great. If it's, with a sticker or with something about, so we could show lots of pictures. And if you're voting early, great, send in the picture. Or if you're voting that day, we just want to collect a lot of pictures. Um,
Rabbi, Rabbi, it's very, 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 very important
yeah,
that we have people who are there to do the counting. Here in Palm Beach County, we have a supervisor of election who was a Republican, She became a Democrat so she could run against someone who had no experience at all. And she has changed the rules for the people who work at the polls. They do not have to count the ballots and associate and catch and count them and then go to the machines and say, oh, it's 101 and it says 101, we have the right number. They'll be in a box and counted after the election. And I'm very concerned. I know two men who are very prominent Democrats here, and one is the commissioner, who are going to stand up that the counting is done. But I have no. Palm Beach County is one of the biggest Nazi groups. They have them all here. If you
Yeah,
see the Southern Poverty Law Center map of the groups that are anti Semitic, anti racist, anti, they are most of them in Florida.
yeah. They're everywhere, Bubala.
So I'm very
So there
concerned.
are, so I assume there are some groups in Florida that are doing the poll watching, I'm sure that's well known to the various Democratic groups, right?
Yes, yes, but they have Republicans there too.
Well, that's fair. They
Everybody's
should
there.
have, what, that's
And
fair,
we
but,
shall see what happens.
yep, yep. Um,
I'm nervous.
Harold, anything else? Do you want to repeat? What's our website to tell people about voting?
So if you just go to the cbst.org website and click on, you just go down on the left-hand thing, it says vote. It's cbst.org/vote has instructions on New York, New Jersey, and Florida, and we'll be having updates. We're also going to be asking people to email in to vote at CBST with their experience of voting, so we'll know
Right,
what's
that
going
was the
on.
other thing.
Particularly, we're probably going to put up a Google Doc so that as you vote early in New York City, you'll be able to tell us where you went, how long the line was.
I voted. I voted.
Okay,
Here's
okay.
my sticker.
Thanks, Dvora. So where was I? So we'll be able to track, and so you can call, you could actually email. I get the email for vote at CBST, as does Sabrina and Rabbi James, and we'll be able to, if you say, well, we're going to East 26th Street, we can say, well, our reports are that 11 o'clock in the morning, there was no line, or the first day
Oh,
was bad, and then it got better.
right.
So
All right, I think it's about 10 o'clock, right, Harold?
it's almost 10 o'clock. Yes. Let's see. Susan Lipson asked a question about yesterday with the classes. The classes start the first week of November. It will be going up on the website very shortly, and an email will go out to all of you and to everybody who took classes last semester. So so just hang out for a day or two, and we'll have all
Yeah.
that information. All right, so on our fagula. So Rabbi, is fagula a diminutive? Is there a Yiddish for bird that isn't fake, that's fagle?
That's a very good question, because fagula literally means female bird.
Okay,
So that's a very good question, because the ending in Yiddish, the ending in Yiddish is a feminine, which is why it became used as a negative for gay men, because it meant like a female bird.
Exactly.
now
What-
here, I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little a little
Too. I'm
bass
hearing that too.
noise from someone, and it's not from the rabbi. Can everyone please mute themselves, other than me and the rabbi and the cantor right now? Yeah, someone just muted themselves, and we
It
lost
helped.
that noise, so that
Right.
was great. All right, so is Cantor, you are here? Cantor,
Yes.
if you would unmute yourself, and I will put up the lyrics.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe as a name, because my Yiddish diminutive name would be Yankele, and so sometimes that ending is
Yeah.
used even on male names.
Right.
So maybe if it's referring to a person, it doesn't necessarily have to
We'll
be.
have to ask somebody who knows more than I do. Uncle.
But in any case, this.
Yeah, it
this
kind of
is-
means little when you use it like that at the end of the name, like it means as in that diminutive sense, like a little thing.
So like a little bird,
Yeah.
And so in this, this is a lovely little lullaby. The words were written by Abraham Goldfaden, who's one of the fathers of Yiddish theater in Europe, and it was published in a book of his poetry in Odessa in 1872. And he said it. There's the melody supposedly derives from a Russian song. I am not going to try to pronounce that Russian. Somebody who actually has that as their language background could help with that. And according to Dr. Jack Gottlieb, who Alav HaShalom, apparently George Gershwin based his song "My One and Only" on this melody. So this is just a lovely, sweet little lullaby. And at some point, maybe when we finish, we can take a look at the translation, which I put down below. Schlaf meine Vögele, mach zu deine Gele, schlaf meine Kinder, schlaf. Mach zu deine Gele, meine teure Vögele, schlaf meine Kind, schlaf. Amalach Hagiter soll sein dein Hiter, von Heint bis morgen früh. Mit seine Fliegele über dein Wiegele, der still dich zieht. Schlaf in Frieden, weiß von kein Leiden, schlaf mein teuer Kind, schlaf in Frieden, weiß von kein Leiden, schlaf sich ausgesinnt. Schlaf in Frieden, weiß von kein Leiden, schlaf sich ausgesinnt.
Wow, spectacular. That is so beautiful. So a few people said that they know it or their mothers sang it to them, maybe slightly different melodies, but it was a very, 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 very well-known Yiddish lullaby. Beautiful, thank you. So we'll do a little bit more research on Yiddish. Okay, so where are we?
A lot of this one little psalm opened the doors of creativity. We've got a lot to go through.
Beautiful.
So if we could move to that, and
Yes.
staying on the bird theme, is Stephen Deem here? Stephen Deem, if you are here, please unmute yourself. Do we see Stephen? If we don't see Stephen right now, we will go to Sherry Dratfield is going to read something from Goldalee, who can't be here because it is her spouse's birthday, but she asked that Sherry be able to read it. So, Sherry, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, hold on. Whoops. Okay. So you see this, Sherry?
Yeah, hold on for a second. Actually, I can't see anything right now. Are you there?
No, you have to press it.
Hold on. Hold on for 1 second. My dog knocked over my, oh, I see. Hold on.
Just put your finger on there.
Put my finger on there. Hold on. Sorry about that. I have it here.
So we have it on screen. You can just read it from your paper copy.
Okay. And Simon will try to reconnect my video. My Psalm 11, True Love's Command.
No, this was, I'm sorry, you're reading yours. This was the one from Goldalee that she wanted you to read.
Yeah, she sent it to me. She sent it to me, her updated one, and that's what I'm reading.
Okay, go ahead.
She also added a couple of quotes.
Okay.
Maybe as a superscription.
Got it.
Be the reason people believe in the goodness in the world, Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum. Nobody can do everything, but everyone can do something, Rabbi Sharon Kleinbaum. We are praying with our feet, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. When your world's foundation is upended, uprooted, disappeared by hungry, crushing hate from right beneath your once well understood faith, what is there to do? And for what? There is no thing to do now, not yet. Only strive to breathe. Be God's foundation stone. Find your way, guided by her eternal flame, in lieu of a seemingly absent you. Oh, to dare to know how to begin to replace your righteousness from the bottom up on our downtrodden, down to earth here, back on up to you, Yud Hey Vav Hey. As you say, how, not what do you do? But how on earth can I leap, even with Shekhinah's help, from your hard, though hallowed, dirt, and soar so far toward the gilded balcony of your heart's open door? What would Yud Hey Vav Hey say? Do. Ground yourself in increasing holiness's home. Be upright. Ever make your stand there. Cry out together and alone. Then laugh and move and march and sing hand in hand in every land and everywhere there. This is all there is to do. Take Hesed's cue. Be. Stand up. Build up her earthly firmament again and again and again. And as she beholds you, behold her presence, beholding yours, as she beams her smile shine all around and upon you. Face the world as she is ever facing you. Whatever you do, or do not ultimately prove, do allow her to mightily, if only quietly, thoroughly use you up, surround and enfold you within her sukkah hug of peace, no matter where or how you dare to take a stand for her and for this. For this is what true love commands.
So I'm
So
not sure.
Thank you.
there was something
Thank you, Sherry.
that you read, Sherry, that wasn't there, right?
A little introduction.
Oh, there wasn't.
In the,
Okay. So that's a little different. I love the use of chesed there. That was a very, very beautiful, but Goldley's not on this call right now, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
I'm
please.
here.
Oh, you are here.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you.
I love this, and I loved your use of chesed in this powerful way. Sometimes chesed seen as a softer, weaker thing, but you strengthened it in this to be a source of such power. I love that very, very much.
Thank you.
You want to talk to us a little bit about writing it?
It's just what I heard. It's fascinating to me that others were challenged, I guess, by the evil, but I just found that foundation stone, so that whole idea so moving and uplifting and I guess aspirational, because there's always a lot of pain. Sometimes what comes through is that, and sometimes what comes through is, if you often talk about, Rabbi, the aspirational aspect of faith.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah, I love that. I love that you really heard the talk about the foundation stone on Rosh Hashanah, and then we see it here in this psalm immediately after Yom. And it was really kind of my personal theme in going into these days of awe was the Even HaShtiyah. So I thought it's spectacular that we then went into this particular psalm. And so many of you have picked up on that theme of both what strengthens it and what weakens it, and how does it collapse and how does it get stronger. And the terror of feeling like, wow, the foundation stone is crumbling or is destroyed. And what do we do to respond to that? So thank you for this, Goldie. Really beautiful.
yes, thank you. And I just want to say it's so, as you said, this class is so, it speaks to this class at this time, Rabbi Kleinbaum, because it's both, right? It's both how, and it's crushing, and also it's life-giving. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very, very powerful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Great. So now, and Goldie, I'll be sending the chat to Goldie. So if anyone has anything that they would like to respond privately, just put it in the chat and I will make sure she sees that. And we move on now. Joan Friedman, are you with us today? If so, unmute
Yes.
yourself. Okay, it's all
Yes.
you.
Okay. To the choral conductor, to David, Hashem is my comfort. Tell me how to fly my voice free like a bird. While wickedness arches all around, striking shadows with anxiousness, tightening throats, amid chaos and panic, how shall we sing? Far away, the transcendent one sees us, preferring those who seek good, detesting those who love harm. Far away. Can we sing when those who spread evil are undone by it themselves? Is there less evil in the world after that? Do the shadows relent? Do our throats open? Right here, Hashem is with us, in righteous souls spreading courage and hope, and each one finding good deeds to do, right here. Together, we take in that slow, deep breath. Together, we slowly breathe out together. It is so hard to feel together when we are always apart, when life is so damn scary, when my resilience has flown off like that bird. Hashem gives us breath. Breathe. Sing to Hashem.
Beautiful. Hold on. There was one line there that I just, where is the?
You made a noise after, is there less evil in the world after that?
I just love that. I just love that. Can we sing when those who spread evil are undone? But is there really less evil afterwards? When the individuals just, yeah, I like that very much. And I love the striking shadows with anxiousness, tightening throats amid chaos and panic. How shall we sing with those tightening throats? Okay, speak to us, Joan. Tell us about writing this.
So I really see this as a kind of a conversation with the psalm. And where I started from was the very first word, lamanatseach, to the conductor, because in normal times, I sing in a chorus and a choir.
Oh, nice.
And so I just got this image of being there, amid the crowd of singers, while the conductor is telling us to send our voices, up high. And the long, slow, deep breaths is also something from choir practice. So I started from that. And so it's kind of a mix of that. It's kind of partly like, here I am as a choral singer trying to make my way through this very difficult time. And in conversation with the psalmist, that's what I meant by with David there. And, a lot of this has very specific contemporary things that came from the those who spread evil. I was writing this when President Trump had come down with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
The where it says right here and Hashem is with us, that's about this community. The spreading courage and hope, Rabbi, that's actually you, but I didn't want to leave you on your own in that stanza. So, so I brought in like all the rest of us trying to do what we do. At the end, Hashem gives us breath. That was something someone in the class said during the discussion. It was kind of a swirl of those different things. The resilience flying off is something I've been dealing with for months.
Yeah.
And I actually shared this with the groups that I sing with, and they liked it.
Well, I love it. And not to mention the layer that we're aware of about breathing, first of all, because we know coronavirus affects the ability to breathe. And then what's been happening with the whole George Floyd consciousness of having literally the breath crushed out of somebody because of racism. So and that breath itself has become in some ways breathing, and the breath itself has become the symbol of the moment of history we're in, right? The coronavirus is all about not being able to breathe, or one of the major symptoms is not being able to breathe. And I can't breathe became kind of the slogan of this horrible expression of the deep foundational racism in our society. And then we're reading the Psalms, which are all about breath and singing and expressing ourselves. So the layers of this that you bring to this, Joan, just beautiful, really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
I have Michael Goldstein next. Michael, I'm sorry, is it Goldstein or Goldstein?
Goldstein, thank you very much. And thank you, Rabbi, for always remembering that. I appreciate it. All right, now before I start, I just want to say that last week, the Rabbi encouraged us to use our own words and our own interpretation. So mine might be a little radically different because I've used each line, but I used my own words for it. Okay, here we go. I trust the good, so why should I flee? There are bad people in the dark aiming missiles at the righteous. What can a decent human being do if fundamentals are leveled? Goodness reigns over all, examining everyone. Goodness searches for the just in humans and hates evil people who revere unholiness. Goodness hurls fire and brimstone at evildoers. A whirlwind is their portion in life. Because goodness is just, the good reveres loving kindness. I trust the good to notice my honesty, to know my love, to keep me safe.
Michael, I love this, and I think you model what it is to take the psalm itself. And this is what I really encourage people if they think they don't know how to do this. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
Just take the psalm and work it through. Don't worry about if you don't have a bigger idea. This is a big idea. Take the psalm and say it in your own words. And so good for you, Michael, for doing this very beautifully. It's very clear, and it shows this architecture of the psalm. And it shows what you've showed us all along in all of your different personal psalms, is that you replace God with goodness. That's how you relate to the concept of God. So Michael, would you talk to us a little bit about writing this?
Yeah, the third stanza is the hinge. I said, what can a decent human being do if fundamentals are leveled? And then there's the before and the after. So that was how I looked at what goodness can do in my life or in a person's life. And that was how I worked the idea. And then again, I went back to each line. And at the beginning, I took the bird image as why should I flee? In other words, it seemed to me that in the, let me just flip back here. For the leader of David, in the Lord I take refuge. How can you say to me, take to the hills like a bird? And it's like, it was saying, why should I flee?
Yep.
In other words, if I have goodness in my life and I revere goodness, then I don't need to go anywhere.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I think, as I've said over and over again, Maimonides talks about we can't know what God is. We can't say who God is, but we could talk about God's characteristics. What are ways we experience God is a classic Maimonides thing. And by your focusing on this aspect of God, that God is goodness, you are giving us a perspective that just using the word God doesn't do. And
thank you.
So this is very Maimonidean of you.
Who knew?
Who knew, right? To say, okay, God, how can we know God? Well, let's talk about what are characteristics. How would we talk about God? And the Reconstructionists like to do this as well. And I think I've mentioned this also, that in some Sephardic Sidurim and traditions, they use all different names for God in order to demonstrate that aspect. And the Reconstructionists, the Kol Neshama Sidur and Machzor do the same. If you look through all the translations of God in the Reconstructionist Sidur or the Reconstructionist Machzor, both of which we use at CBST, you'll see every time God's name is used, they use a different translation, a different name, a different characteristic to emphasize exactly this point. They use the God of compassion, God of forgiveness, God of goodness, God of infinity, all different things, because there is not one word that encompasses this ineffable concept.
All right. Thank you, Michael. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Ginny Hennenberg is next. Ginny, are you here today? So we will save Ginny Hennenberg for tomorrow. And we will move on to Kohenet Judith Hollander. Judith Hollander, are you here today?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. That I could see clearly, like the prophets, to know righteousness, but I am a mere mortal. God does not whisper in my ear. I can never know if I follow the right path. I do not see beyond now to the effect of my actions, but I hope. I hope that those who are evil, those who disagree with me, are stopped. May the vileness that they wrought on others land manyfold on them. And may the evil I wish on them not come back to haunt me. Allow me to luxuriate in thoughts of vengeance, knowing as a mere mortal, I do not whisper in God's ear. Then may I soften my vengeful heart and get on with the business of undoing the evil that we all do.
Wow. Wow. I love this. Allow me to luxuriate in the thoughts of vengeance. That then may I soften my vengeful heart and get on with the business of doing. Beautiful. Judy, speak to us.
Well, I wrote this on Saturday after the diagnosis. I was extreme of COVID by President Trump. I was extremely upset by it, and I don't want to talk about that, but extremely upset and scared. And I had some emotion, fine, something. And I thought, work on this. How does this fit with what we're talking about? Well, I'm not quite sure how it fits with the Psalm, but I do know that I have a constant struggle within myself about how do I know that what I believe is right? I mean, we're sitting here and we're talking about them being evil and we're being good and we're doing the right thing. But I myself am not convinced that we know that I know that what I'm doing. I know I try. I mean, obviously we're not deliberately doing bad things, but we don't know. I really can be convinced that we know, and that plagues me all the time and makes me sometimes feel on the outs and feel like I'm not covering my friends' backs. I mean, it's a burden I carry. Yeah. I'm sorry to get melodramatic. And so I thought I would play with that. And there's a little bit of humor in when I was thinking is up was that, but that I also need to allow myself that idea that, that, you're just terrible and I'm great. And I got the thing and you just have to drop off the face of the earth. But then there has to be a time when I just, pull up my jeans and get on with doing what I need to do in the world.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to describe here, I think many of us struggle with. And I love that you're very self-aware to say, okay, I hope those who are evil, okay, those who disagree with me are stopped. I love that you're self-aware and you kind of, as you say, have a little humor in that. And look, I'm very in Jewish thought and in Talmudic discussions, the minority perspective is not called evil, right? I mean, we want a world in which there's disagreement, and that's what we want to be able to have, is that there are places in which we can debate and argue and live to see a day where maybe we find out that we were wrong. And that's where the kind of world I want to live in. The problem is the stakes have gotten so high, and you don't feel like there's going to be a future in which you can turn around and say, oh, maybe I was wrong about this. Okay, you're right, because there's no room for that level of self-awareness but I think that's a deeply Jewish concept, and honestly, why I believe so deeply in nonviolence. Because for me, it's philosophical and it's also practical. That if I believe that everything has to stay within a realm of nonviolence, then even if I'm wrong, I can't do that much damage on a practical level, right? You're not, I'm not advocating the, and then I can find, then there's another day in which I can say, oops, I made a mistake without having killed somebody. That's a very simplistic practical level.
I also feel that we are not exempt, us good people who are God-fearing are not exempt from doing evil.
Exactly. But very much in our Jewish tradition, in the Talmud, it talks about there are very vicious debates about what's the right way or wrong way to do it. But at the end, it's very clear that when the majority decision is decided, the minority is considered to be, that maybe in the days of the Messiah, that minority decision will be the decision by which we live. So we should be careful how we talk about them. So that's a very interesting concept. It really changes the way you look at it. Unfortunately, we now see many people who are following the Talmud doing things in pretty horrible things. So that's pretty hard to, it's hard to carry this level of nuance and ambivalence. And Judy, I love you because you always do that. You really struggle with it, and you model that for all of us.
Thank you.
So I found a note from Ginny Henenberg that she posted her Psalm 11 in Facebook and had some comments on it. She's not going to be able to be in class now, but she sort of wanted to continue to follow along. So everyone can read Ginny's Psalm 11 in Facebook. But Lori Croatman is here, and Lori Croatman can read her own psalm to us.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this. I actually wrote it before the holidays, and then I read it and I said, "Oh, how can I post this? It's not upbeat like everybody else's seems to be." And then I spoke to a couple of people. Saul was really helpful. He said, "Just put it out and talk about it and stop worrying about."
Good
about
advice, Saul. Thank you for taking that position. Excellent
to be happy. My they usually end on an upbeat, but I'll tell you what I thought it meant when I wrote it, and then I'll tell you what. Also, Peter Klein. There were so many people that were helpful for me with this. And what a community who actually helped me understand what it really meant. So this is a true story about Mitterin that I knew, and I also read in this amazing book called The Paragon. Marcia Melnick mentioned she read it also. So what hit me was the bird, and the gaze. And so I'll read it. Here we go. True story. A desperate ortolan warble, looking for a place to build a nest, listening to nature's whispers far above, far away from danger. Oh, how sharp is Mitterin's knife, his trapping nets, his searing oils. He blinds it, drowns it, plucks it, roasts it, eats it under a white napkin, whole bones and all. But no one can escape the universal gaze that sees right through the artificial cloth. You think you can hide beneath the veil, hoping no one sees you ravishing these little songbirds, a protected species? Choke on the embers used to roast the innocent, burn in the fires used to sear blameless flesh. Mitterin died after gorging himself on the illegal delicacy, bones and all, his last meal.
Yeah, so talk to us more about this. I learned a lot about this from the post on the Psalms page. I didn't know any of it. So would you talk a little bit about it?
Well, at the outset, it was about, that bad people do bad things and they get punished for it, whether, we do like Judy, we wish them punishment, but I guess I believe like Michael that good, it doesn't sound in this poem, good triumphs in the end. But people pay for what they do. But the protected species and the little songbirds, I'm going to cry here, but I'll say it anyway. So I realized that this poem is about my sister. I had written a poem, a Psalm 6 after she died. She died of COVID. in March, very early on. And my sister was, and my psalm then was, I was so sad that I couldn't protect her. I couldn't save her. And this is about the person that abused her. And I didn't realize that until like a few days ago. And my fury at what happened and about all the people that do things to innocent protected species. And she was just an innocent. She was unprotected, and
Wow.
it's about my fury, and I just had to express that, I guess. And
Wow.
when I realized that, I felt okay. So anyway, that's basically what it was about.
Wow, now I understand the power that's there. And isn't that amazing? You can't even know that consciously, what creativity draws from, and that's the power of deep and powerful art like this. And now I understand the power that's there, and so deeply moving. And I think there's a huge difference between people with whom we might have very profound disagreements and evil that exists.
Right. Right.
And there's nothing more evil than somebody who in Jewish tradition, we call Amalek, as Linda Motzkin talked about on Saturday night. Amalek, who is the enemy of the Jewish people throughout history and the vision, is the one. What does Amalek do in the Bible? Attacks the weakest among us, those who couldn't keep up with the group, so to speak, and brutalizes them. So here we are.
So for those of us who hadn't gone, you posted the whole story of Mitterrand eating the ortolan on the Psalms class Facebook page, right? So I suggested everybody get the backstory off of there.
And Marianne also suggested, which I watched, which was amazing. It's called, I think, I don't know if Marianne's on the line, Emptying the Skies, which is a documentary, and they actually feature this, and they show people eating these birds and what they do. It's such a ravishing of the innocent.
Wow.
Anyway,
all right.
Wow,
Sure.
thank you for that. Thank you so much, Lori.
Yeah,
So
thank you. Wish we could. We all wish we could reach in and give you a big hug right now, Lori.
Absolutely.
Jeremy, are you with us?
I am. I changed the superscription. I'll just read it.
Okay.
For the conductor from David, avoid the train wreck I have written, if you can. Who are you to tell me to run away? I have been running away all my life. When young and ambitious like Icarus, I flew too close to the sun. Now I'm a bird with a melted wing, forever failing to take flight from the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, from those who do harm with their life. Shekhinah is busy making fire and brimstone for the ever-propagating predators of what's just. If she squints her eyelids, she may see me run by, but she never tells me to rest. My running's a terrible test of endurance, from which I have learned to trust just one thing, my continuous failure to escape. For wherever I go, the foundations are crumbling, cornerstones are crushed in the dust. Propelled by a plague, constitutions are weakening. My body collapses in on itself. Still I strain in pain to be free. Life hurts. Still I struggle to be me. I lost track of days in the days of awe and prostrated myself a day early on a deck in Provincetown overlooking the sea, not fasting, alone, just my Machzor and me, hoping the words would enter my brain and I might have Adonai on my side again. But did I really care to be written in the book of life? Isolated, exhausted, undone. Perhaps my last desperate dash to escape has now been finally run.
Wow, Jeremy. Wow. Talk to us.
it's hard to talk about. I'll just say I didn't have the high holy days because I had the great good fortune of being one of the few theater actors to be working in this country. It was under a very pressured situation, and it was a little terrifying for me. I did two different shows. One show was really not a show. It was a lecture demonstration about the censorship of the film A Streetcar Named Desire, which I knew very little about, and it was very hard to put together. That was the first show which I did on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And I had no idea what it was going to be like. I was showed, it was outdoors. I was showed the venue. I had no idea. Of course, as it came time for the show, it got dark and I could not see anybody. So I didn't think they could see me, but they could. I had clip lights so I could read my lecture. But I had no idea where anybody was. It was like walking into a black hole.
Wow.
It is not what live theater is about.
Mhm.
Live theater is about community.
Mhm.
And a strange thing happened. I had brought fall clothes because I thought it'd be cool in Provincetown, and it turned out to be gorgeous and actually hot. And I wanted to go buy a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and asked to be taken to the venue a lot early so I could buy shorts and a t-shirt. And I was told that management didn't have anybody to stay with me. And I said, why do I need anyone to stay with me? And they said, well, management is concerned that you might fall down, that you're looking very frail. And that enraged me.
Mm.
And on the last day that I was there, I did my one-man Tennessee, which I had rewritten the night before. And I carried the script, and then I had a break before the evening show, and I just went on the deck in front of my inn that I was staying in and put on some bikini underwear and took a swim and lay down or sat down on a chair, and I was so exhausted I just fell asleep. I had had a lot of sleepless nights trying to get this work done. And then I said to myself, oh my gosh, I should do something about Yom Kippur. So I went in and got my machzor and prayed mincha. And it was very strange. And it was only in the evening that I realized that I was a day early. That's the background of this.
Wow. So your writing and your delivery, Jeremy, you know, is so powerful. And you have such a unique and powerful and profound relationship to words that I feel like it's an honor to be able to have them as part of the class.
Oh,
thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Wow. And Jeremy, could you make sure to send the revised version to me and Annika? We're trying to keep very good records of exactly how they were shared.
I will.
Thank you. Wow. Ari, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
You have the stage. You have the mic.
Great. So I changed a little bit, so I'm going to read from my own Google Doc, but it's
fine.
pretty much the same. 11. God, I trusted you, and now you say, leave this place for something higher. How? I thought this was as good as it gets. Plus, there are people out there who want to shoot me down, who want to see me fail. If the place I call home My foundation is destroyed. Where am I to go? How can I stand? Adonai in their holy place, God in a temple I cannot imagine. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh sees what I cannot see. Hashem knowing what I want to know, yet do not know yet. You try us because you see us as righteous. What do you see when you search us? Lord, seek out goodness, loathe wickedness, hate injustice. I hear fire, brimstone, and scorching winds can cause a change of heart. My home is in you. It is in righteousness, good deeds, beholding your face. Maybe with a home in you, leaving a place isn't so bad after all.
Wow, beautiful. Talk to us, Ari.
So I think like the main sort of inspiration for this was early in the pandemic. The landlord or the leasing company at the place where I was living before where I'm living now made a mistake and I almost got evicted in the middle of a pandemic. To the point where I like had to go to court to prove that I was like paid up. And so that was a home that I had been living in at that point for 3 years. And for a grad student, living somewhere for 3 years is like a very long time. And so I had been sort of dealing with these ideas of like leaving home and what really is home. And then I felt sort of inspired by Fisher's non-specificity with that opening you in the first stanza of like, who is you? And Levy's try, and I think God tries us versus like the JPS translation of like God seeks out was sort of really inspirational for me and how I translated it.
Beautiful. And I love that my my foundation is destroyed. I love the play off of the original Psalm. And it's very interesting how powerful the whole imagery of the shooting down the bird and that feeling of flying away and has resonated for so many of us. Isn't that so powerful in so many different kinds of ways? And I love that here you do use the word God, unlike Fisher, and you do use the word Lord. Very powerful connection to kind of the deity words. And then this very clear, seek out goodness, loathe wickedness, hate injustice, very clearly what we want to see in a world of justice. This is what we want the powerful source, the powerful creator to do. But then you end with this, my home is in you. That is very beautiful and very kind of it has both of the strength of if the place I call home, my foundation is destroyed, where am I to go? And then to end, my home is in you. It is righteousness, good deeds, beholding your face. Maybe with a home in you, leaving a place isn't so bad after all. Really beautiful, Ari.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you for this. Thank
So,
you.
Rabbi, I think that looking at the time, that is all we have for today's offerings. We will certainly continue tomorrow, and I think perhaps into today's Wednesday, right? Into next week.
Today is Wednesday, yes.
Today
And
is
the other
Wednesday.
thing is somebody asked on the chat about my doing another little intro to Psalms, because some of you have joined since the beginning. And I could do that maybe at 9:45 tomorrow morning, if you'd like that. I'll do an intro to the book of Psalms, a short version of it, but how about I do that tomorrow, okay? And everybody's welcome to join that, but I'll just do another little intro to the book itself at 9:45. Harold,
Okay.
is that okay?
Oh, that's fine with me.
Okay.
I will just say that sometimes these are so powerful that I realize it's only 10:45 in the morning, and I feel like I just need to take the rest of the day off to process.
I know. I feel like I
Start
need
to go back onto whatever else we need to jump into after this class.
I
Such
feel the same way.
unbelievable, personal, true, beautiful sharing. So we will end with a little lullaby, and then we will see everybody tomorrow morning at 9:45. So, Cantor, back over to you.
I'm a little bit verklempt.
I know.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for opening your hearts. It's really just been a very very special morning. So I wanted just to share the translation of one of the lines in this that Goldfaden wrote. May a good angel be your guardian from now till tomorrow morning. With wings spread over your cradle, he will quietly protect you. Schlaf, meine Vögele, mach zu dein Egele. Schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf. Mach zu dein Egele, meine Teierfegele. Schlaf, mein Kind, schlaf. Malach Agiter soll sein dein Hiter, von heint bis morgen früh. Mit seine Fliegele über dein Wiegele, deckt still dich zieh. Schlaf in Frieden, wees von kein Leiden. Schlaf, meine Teier Kind. Schlaf in Frieden, wees von kein Leiden. Schlaf sich ausgesinnt. Schlaf in Frieden, wees von kein Leiden. Schlaf sich ausgesinnt.
Gorgeous. Thank you, everybody. Love and blessings to everybody. See you if you want to talk about the Book of Psalms at 9:45, and 10 o'clock we'll continue our journey into each personal psalm. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a happy Wednesday.